Hi, everyone. My name is Joanna from VerseOne Distribution. We are a digital music distributor and publisher. We work primarily with independent artists and labels, and we distribute to over 280 endpoints in over 190 territories. Our staff mostly work in music or are musicians or producers themselves, so we have a lot of passions of helping independent musicians grow their career. And we take really great pride in working personally with all of our clients.
So I think a major challenge that independent artists face when marketing their music is actually having the support network or knowing the tools to promote themselves. So many of them, they focus so much on creating the final piece of music. They don't actually know how to promote it after, or they don't have a marketing plan or strategy in place. So we want to be able to just kind of have it all in one place and be like, look, here are your options.
Primarily, I just want to go through our new features in the VerseOne platform and talk about how we can help independent artists and labels grow their career. Welcome to the VerseOne dashboard. This is the user dashboard where artists and labels are going to find all of the releases, their services, and also our features and the ability to ask for support or help, all from one centralized location. So on the dashboard, we have your releases listed. You can see all of them in the central area of the dashboard. And then on the right side, we have a daily report, and that usually shows you information about your tracks and releases and anything that may need your attention, whether it has been created, it's in drafts, it needs your QC check attention, or if it's already live in stores. On the left side, we have all of our different categories of tabs, and then we'll walk through them. So to create a release, it's actually very straightforward and simple. I'm not going to go super into that because it's basically just filling out a form of metadata with your tracks. So when you create a release, you can either select audio or video release, and then you can just name your release name and then click next. Once you get there, you fill out all the metadata. And the good thing about our system is that we have little help tips on each category and section. So if you just scroll over each question mark, then it will tell you exactly what kind of information you need to put there. For every release, there's usually a catalog number and a UPC code associated with it. So if it's a brand new release and you're a brand new artist and you have no idea what that is, you can just leave that blank and we will provide those free for all of our artists. Another way for VerseOne to help our artists is that we want our artists to fill out their profiles as complete as possible. So when you go into your artist or your label profile, you can fill out all of your information, including your socials and the DSP identifiers, which is very important. The DSP identifiers is basically your artist profile link on Apple or Spotify, Deezer, and that way when we deliver your tracks, it makes sure that it goes to the correct profile and the correct artist. So we don't want to have the same name artist appearing under the same profile because we want the music to be associated with the correct people. One of the most beneficial sections of our platform for users is actually the report section. This is the part where we spend a lot of time developing to help our independent artists gather information on their analytics and how their music is actually doing once it's released. So for social and radio tracking, artists can link up all of their social accounts with their DSP accounts as well, so they can get a general overview of their followers. Below we have the charts. So for charts, you can actually separate or categorize by DSPs as well. And then you can see the ranking on the chart, the changes on the charts, the title of whichever track is being tracked on the chart, and the artist and the country as well. For radio airplay, anywhere that your song is being played in the world is going to show on the map. The map should light up wherever it's getting played. However, in the future, you will be able to see exactly what city, what country, what radio station your tracks are being played. Below, we have the playlist section. So whenever an artist has their song featured on any playlist, editorial or independent playlist, they will appear in the playlist section. And you can actually categorize by the different DSPs as well to see where your songs are getting traction. For streaming and downloads, you can also see your streaming and download data. So for the past 28 days, right now that's how we have it set. And it shows you your total streams and downloads globally as well. Here you can see that the US had the most streams and downloads over the last 28 days. And then with more detailed information below based on the country and also the changes in streams and downloads. And yeah, it's a great place for you to see all of your analytics and reports in one place so you can better manage your marketing strategy and see what you might want to target in the world. So then on the dashboard, we also have a services section for our artists. So artists can request different services such as the social media verification. If you need a tick mark on Instagram, a YouTube official artist channel, that's beneficial because then it makes you an official artist on YouTube, and then we can actually distribute distribute music videos directly to the artist channel. We can help artists manage their profiles on different DSPs. Many artists, they might have outdated bios on one profile, but then a new bio on a different one. So we want to make sure that artists have the same profile picture, the same bio, and that all information is matched up across their profiles. We also can do playlist pitching requests. So artists should always request for playlist pitching 3 weeks in advance of their release date, and that's a requirement by the DSPs. So that's something to consider when they're planning their release. But we can also, at any time, pitch to independent playlists and curators as well. So even if they don't make it onto a big editorial playlist, they can still gain exposure on smaller independent playlists. And then we just have some other services here for technical difficulties if the users happen to encounter any in their profile. And then once you've applied for one, just to show you an example. So if you wanted to request for playlist pitching, then you can just enter your information, fill out the form, and then once the request goes in, our team is gonna work on pitching those. And then any that you have applied for should show right here in the applied section. And of course, we have guides and helps to help with any questions that the users may have, and then they can always contact support as well.
So we provide basic distribution and publishing, but that only makes a tiny piece of the puzzle for when you actually release and promote your music. So outside of posting social media posts or playlist pitching, we want to actually provide different channels for artists, labels, and music industry professionals to actually give them a place to share their voice. So for example, in China, we have a podcast series called Unmute, and this is where we invite local and foreign musicians to come and record a video as well as the audio podcast to talk about anything from their music, the industry, their hobbies, just to kind of give them a personality beyond just their music. In Nigeria, we have a series called VerseOne, where we invite artists of our choosing under VerseOne to go and shoot promotional videos because they might not have access to these kind of resources. In that way, they can actually have content to post and actually give themselves more of an artist presence that goes beyond just pushing their songs. And also, we're introducing a studio partnership program to expand our network within the industry so that studios, for example, can get involved. And if they work with talented artists that they think have potential, if they recommend an artist under VerseOne, then they can actually receive referral rewards. So we're just building a network here to kind of provide the support needed for independent artists and, for a way for them to share their voice and be heard. And also it's a way for their fans to connect to them on a deeper level that just goes beyond just their music. So currently our social media tracking shows analytics across the last 28 days across DSPs as well as social media profiles. So we're working on integrating more and more features so that eventually users will not only be able to see their social account growth and loss, but also categorize further by cities and countries so that they can plan their promotional strategies accordingly.
We decided we'd go with VerseOne because it gives us access to kind of literally hundreds of digital streaming platforms and sites. We also love the fact that we have access to a lot of analytic reporting, which it allows us monitor our promotional strategies and targets. We also like to be able to talk regularly with people rather than bots. It's a huge part of it for us. We get in touch with somebody and we ask a question, we get an answer from a person, which is just, it's so important. So they'd be the main reasons we go with you guys.
We were really impressed by the fact that there was a human element behind. So every time I asked Annette a question, I wouldn't expect a response for about 4 weeks. The next morning I wake up and there's a response. We were really impressed by that. That's probably the biggest reason for us that we can actually talk to him, send them a question, she replies back straight away, and you just feel like you're dealing with humans, which is really important to us at this stage. Social media monitoring, the radio monitoring is very important. Sometimes Annette will try and get us on playlists and things. Recently did a press campaign for us. So it allowed us to kind of reach people that we wouldn't normally kind of even know how to get there, because music is so global. Now we have our own following and we do send out stuff to radio stations that know us and that all works well. But it's really for us, it's just try to reach people. We just want our music heard by people, as many people as we can. And I think that VerseOne kind of helps us to do that,
And there's some other applications we use for kind of monitoring radio station plays and stuff like that. You can access all that through VerseOne.
They did a press campaign for us in America, which is fairly extensive. still did that, and we were dealing with Annette, and Annette is going to try and get us on a few playlists for Spotify and things like that. When you look at artists these days and you go onto your internet browser, you're getting people that they want to sell you streams, they want to sell you this, Google ads, YouTube advertising, Facebook advertising. I mean, where does it stop, you know? For us, it's important that we deal with one company so that, you know, we have one focus then. But at least VerseOne seems like a reputable company for us to use.
And the fact that we can talk to one person, I know we keep coming back to that point, it's so important to us to be able to talk to somebody.